The Florida real estate market is so cooked. And my prediction is it's not going to take much longer till we're going to see big price reductions if we haven't. And so what we're going to do is I have some realtor videos and we're going to analyze those. I got some receipts, I got some data, and we're going to all mix it together. And then you're going to tell me, do you think it's a good time to buy or sell? And yeah, this is going to be a crazy video. So let's look at some data. Let's first look at what this realtor is actually talking about.
Florida real estate is getting very interesting right now. I just did 3 price corrections on my listings. Okay, there's so much to talk about here, but I'm going to try and stick to just sellers right now. Okay, sellers, if you have owned your home since before 2020, chances are you have a really great amount of equity.
Perfect. So I have to chop this up in a little bit so we can go over the data, do some stuff. So for this scenario, I picked this house, kind of random, Southwest Florida. She's my realtor, hypothetical scenario. Let's lock it in.
Okay, if you've owned your home for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years or more, we can still get that home sold. Don't you worry. 70% of homes are selling. They're still selling between 95 and 97% of list price. Don't freak out.
Not my case. I owned my home since, what was it? 2023. So that's a negative.
We can still sell your house. I actually just had 2 closings that the properties were on the market for more than 6 months. We still got those properties closed and the seller still walked away with equity.
Okay, this is my first issue. Let's look at what happened to my house. I bought my house in 2023 and I've listed it for sale. 8-9 months later, I did some remodels. I listed it for 9. I listed my house for $970,000, and look at how many price reductions I've done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Discounted my house 30%. So now you're telling me that, hey, if I sell it today and you're going to come in, I can get close to list price. You mean my original list price or the list price that's listed today with a 29% discount? Let's keep watching.
That the properties were on the market for more than 6 months. We still got those properties closed and the seller still walked away with equity.
The equity that I'm bringing to the table when I first bought it, or the equity that rose over time?
All right, if you're like me and you've bought a couple of properties since 2020, my recommendation is hold on to them for as long as you can, because this is all going to correct itself like it always does. Just now might not be a great time to sell if you bought at the height of the market in 2021, 2022. If you have to sell, okay, great, we'll sell it. But if you can hold it, turn it into a rental. I did just have a seller turn theirs into a rental because he didn't have enough equity to be able to sell in this market. It's all fine. It's all good. Don't freak out. Real estate will come back around. Florida's always going to be a place that people want to live.
Okay, sweet. So let's look at turning my place into a rental. So I took standard numbers, since I obviously do not own this home. I took some standard numbers. So what I've done is I basically said the home price is $505. My down payment is $101,000 that I brought to the table. My loan amount was $400,000. I took a 7%. That's what it kind of was going for. Property taxes in that area, 1.25%. Homeowners insurance, everything. So my total out-of-pocket expense that I've got to do is $3,367. And since I do own rentals, I have the numbers right here, and I can rent that exact place out. The average is $3,415. So now let's look at how much cash flow I'm making, because everything is about cash flow, baby. So here we go. The monthly rental income, I put in $3,450. My total monthly expenses, $3,367. Positive drum rolls, baby. $82.95. That's how much I'm making off of a $100,000 investment. So is making $100 on $100,000 investment, making $1,000 a year? Probably less than that, because if something breaks or anything else, but hey, you made $1,000 a year off $100,000. Seems like a winning scenario.
Now, pricing is kind of a moving target right now. So if you've been on the market a while and you're having to do price reductions, don't worry. Over 60% of homes are going through price reductions because it's kind of a moving target right now. I mean, we've got a price under the latest price reduction. You know, like I saw another realtor say this and I thought it was brilliant that your competition is the latest price reduction, you know, near in your neighborhood or near your home.
I've been saying that for a very long time. Your biggest competition is your neighbor trying to undercut you in your prices, and then the only thing that's kind of says, hey, my house has nicer flooring, nicer kitchen cabinets, nicer appliances. How much is that worth to you? Well, it's all negotiation.
Definitely want to look at your pricing from the perspective of a buyer. This is a winning strategy. Before you list your home, look at what's on the market, look from a buyer's perspective, and look to see if you were a buyer, which home would you go for and what would you be willing to pay for it? And that's how you want to price your house. Don't be afraid of price corrections right now. Go for it. If it's what's going to get your home sold and you've got to get somewhere and you're motivated, don't be afraid of those price reductions. They're your friend, but use the data that we have, right? So we have benchmark pricing reports. We have all kinds of reports that we can use to make educated guesses on what your price reduction should be to get that home sold.
As you've seen, we would lose out big time, really, really big time. And 30% from the original asking price down 29 point something percent. It is absolutely cooked. If you're thinking about buying, you need to know what you're getting into. And just turning everything into a rental, it's not as easy. Airbnb market over there saturated like crazy. You're not going to make any money. And as you're seeing that, hey, the average rent price is also not that great if you're wrapping up so much money. So know your numbers, know what you're getting into. And yeah, if you're one of these people that lists at their house because they got to move back, because they left the Bay Area, they left Seattle, and they left New York, said, you know what, I got to go and get back to the office because my tech job is in jeopardy already. I don't know if there's going to be layoffs, but now they're saying that if I don't come back, they're going to fire me. Then it is time to pack your stuff up and head back. And hopefully you did not sell your house where you were, because that would have been a huge mistake, because now you're going to have to buy at an even higher price, because these places that are like Seattle, San Jose went up, and now since everybody's moving back, what does that do? Upwards pressure on the price and normal supply and demand. So not every area has the same, but man, Florida, it's like a fallen knife. Be very aware. And now, this is another thing that this person hasn't been saying, this realtor. There's no hate against her. She's just trying to feed her family, do her thing. But this is where you watch my video and you kind of know what we're going to do. So if you haven't, please like and subscribe. And so this is another thing these realtors say, hey, we're selling these to 80-90% of list price. So let's say you list your car on Facebook Marketplace and you're going to sell your Honda Civic for 10 G's. And nobody comes and nobody does anything. So you decrease it by $1,000. Then what you're going to do is nothing happens. You do another. So now you're at 8. And now you're like, oh my gosh, but I have a loan on it. And I have some other stuff that I need to get rid of. So you decrease it another $500. And now what's going to happen is I'm going to start texting you. And I'm going to say, hey, I'm willing to buy that Civic, but I see there's a little bolt tireness. I wanted to get it inspected. I want to do a service on it, done from Honda. I want 4 new tires, and I want you to pay for my gas to come out there. All of a sudden, you're in it another $600-700 without your time, and then I show up and I say, yeah, you know, I'll buy it. And so actually, with your time, everything included, you actually sold it me for $500. But I say, hey, you know, not putting the tires on, putting it in service, doing all this other stuff is totally worth it for me to say, hey, I'll still pay the $7,500. And so now you're like, ha, I got $7,500. But actually you didn't, because we negotiated on all this other stuff on the back end, closing costs, whatever else it is, or DMV registration, you name it. it's negotiable. So you can negotiate like crazy. Get the seller to buy down your mortgage. Get the seller to pay for stuff. Oh, I don't like the front entrance. Make a new door, paint it, do stuff, make them jump through hoops. And if you're a realtor, it's like, oh, this isn't, what do you call it? If your realtor says, oh, this isn't feasible, well, I'm bringing the money. I say what's going to happen. I say jump, and the seller has to say how high, or we're out. And then you just need to know that, hey, there's deadlines that you got to do stuff with. And if you don't like the inspection report, you say, you know what, we're out anyways. So, and in the inspection report, something comes up, yeah, put in the air conditioner's not blowing cold enough, put in a new one, or we're out. And doing all this kind of stuff, or say, hey, I want another $15,000, $20,000 off because I don't know when the sucker's gonna go out. So you are in control. You have the lever if you have the money. And if you got that pre-approval letter from a bank, realtors are gonna dance around you like you wouldn't believe. So make sure that you know, and don't let yourself get swindled into something. And oh, this is a good house, this will only go up, blah, 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 blah. You need to know what you're gonna get into. You need to know, hey, if I'm gonna buy this today, is it gonna go down another 100,000 first before it's gonna go up? Or am I gonna say, you know what, let me take another 70,000 off the asking price, because if the house is gonna go down some more, and I don't know if I'm gonna stay here for that long, I don't wanna be catching a fallen knife. So you are in control. And trust me, you write offers long enough, somebody is in a spot where they can willing to take it. Because as you see, there's more and more people getting unemployed, and there's more and more people that need the money for other things. And so there's gonna be people that are willing to make deals. And there are seller motivated, right? Those are motivated sellers. And then you come in and say, hey, I got the money. I'm ready for a good deal. Don't just take the first one and be like, my realtor's gonna say, oh, I don't wanna do this or I don't wanna do that. You gotta be smart. You gotta be savvy, because nobody cares about your money more than you do. Because the realtor's gonna walk away afterwards and say, you know what, I got my money, and then you're stuck with a house that might have not been the best decision for you. But hey, houses, and I've been saying this all along because I own some. I own a few rental units. I always say, money is made when you purchase. So you gotta know when, how, and where the market is going. That's why I tell people when they ask me, oh, would you invest out of state? I always say it's tricky because I don't know the market. And if you don't know the market, then it's kind of on the more brutal side, because if something does go south, you cannot oversee it. There's people that can do it great, and that's fine. But I've only had these property managers that were trying to link me, or, oh, take a little bit off the top here, take a little bit off the top there. And if you buy the property right, that doesn't matter to you. But for me, when somebody does stuff like that, it's just shady. So I only buy where I can actually see it, I can actually look at it, and I'm in control of my own asset. Because it's too much money for me to wrap up in something and let somebody else manage it and just be out for their 10% or whatever their management fees, and don't really care about nothing else. So you gotta be sure of, hey, this is the contract, this is what I'm getting into, I know what I'm getting into, I know what I got, and this is the price. And don't let yourself get caught up in the frenzy of the whining and dining for the realtor and, oh, let me do this. No, you need to be relentless. You need to be a shark, because now is not the time where you're like, oh, everybody has free money, let's do this. No, now everybody's broke. There's news articles saying that, hey, consumer spending's down, and if you saved up and you have the money, it is up to you now to make the demands to do it. And people say, oh, all this is so negative. No, it's not. You just saw, if you're coming in as a buyer and you wait it out and you let your neighbor and everybody else buy this big Yukon Denali, spend over asking price and all these crazy cars, and you're like, I just wanted a vacation home. Your time has coming up, because you can negotiate like crazy. And I do believe real estate over time will bounce back and will come back and be more expensive, just because of history and people need to live somewhere. And yeah, I'm telling you, it might take a few years, but it's coming back. And so now you need to protect yourself, because when I talk about all my theories, all my views, there's always something underlining about insurance. Put insurance in place. And when I say put insurance in place, is make sure you don't buy the thing overvalued. So when you do need to get rid of it, because life changes, as life changes on you, you have sick family members, you lose your ability, you're gonna, your ability to make money because of medical problems, of a whole bunch of reasons, just life happens to you. And so you don't want to be stuck like Chuck, and you need to be able to move it around. And there's nothing worse than being buried in an asset like a car, a house that you cannot get rid of, and then you're not even making money when you're renting it out. And it is just absolutely brutal when all that kind of stuff just starts piling up, and then all of a sudden you're drowning in your so-called assets because you need to cover the cost. And there's been many people on Wall Street that had to cover their calls and had to constantly upfront money, because they're taking loans out for stocks that went down. And so don't be that person that's taking loans out on houses, on cars, and that don't have that value. And so now you got to go out and cover that. Let me know what you think. Would you buy something in that area? Is this just absolutely crazy? Do you think that these realtors should come up with some better numbers and say, oh, they did 20% price deductions. Oh, they did 30% price reductions. Oh, it's all that. But let me know what you guys think, because I think it's just a craziness going on in the market. So let me know. I think there's going to be some really, really good deals. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to make a lot of money off of these people that need to sell and just need to take the offer. And don't even think, if you're going to short sell it, that you're out of it. Because somebody in my comments, and I love that these comments come in and I love the interactions. If you short sell your house and they short sell it for $100,000, the bank's not going to write that off. You have to take that on your taxes, going to be classified as income. You heard me right. If the bank sells it for $100,000 less, they're going to write it off, but you have to declare that as income. And so then, yes, you got rid of the house, but you're going to have a tax bill so big, Uncle Sam's going to laugh, and you are going to be in big trouble. But hey, should have watched my videos earlier and liked and subscribed so you did not get stuck. So I'll see you in the next one.